God, it's great to be here. It's the last few days before the election. And there's a sense of desperation in the air from the opponents of Brexit, isn't there? Those determined to water down and overturn our democratic vote. Well, they are doling out insults and abuse, coming at us fast and furious with a kind of shrill, conspiratorial, wild, fantastical accusations and vile muckraking. They are in danger of debasing public life. One Guardian journalist, describing the atmosphere of a rally much like this in Yorkshire last week, said it was the Blitz spirit whipped up into a lynch mob. A lynch mob. What a vile, horrible sentiment. It's tempting to lash out. It's tempting, but we will not resort to their tactics. It's fantastic to see here throughout the country and even on social media the Brexit Party candidates and supporters alike are rising above this muckraking. I quoted before Michelle Obama's advice. They go low, we go high. So now again, as they go even lower, we must go even higher. We aren't the types to play the woe is me victim card. We need to hold our nerve and our dignity and carry on making our positive case for democratic change, whatever they throw at us. But there is one insult that does need to be taken on head on. It is the disgraceful labelling of the Brexit Party as far right and bigots. In a series of online Labour Party adverts under the heading "Don't Let Fear Win," the Labour Party have actually whipped up fear. It's despicable when Jeremy Corbyn repeats a slur in the Northwest in Merseyside and on Andrew Marr's show that accuse the Brexit Party of attacking minorities and dividing society. This is Project Fear, outright lies. I can't imagine anything more divisive than accusing all of those millions of Corbyn's own Labour voters, many active anti-racists and anti-fascists, of being bigots. Of all those people from ethnic minorities who voted leave, imagine accusing them of being far right. What is really divisive and indeed bigoted is to write off 17.4 million voters as beyond the pale. They are treating us as some sort of enemy within. But the Brexit Party is the opposite. It is not dividing the country. Actually, in these elections, the Brexit Party is the vehicle for uniting the country around defence of democracy. In my campaigning, I have met military, ex-military, united with anti-militarists fighting for democracy. Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sikhs, all religions and none. Traditional Labour and Conservative voters, even Lib Dems and Greens. And many, many Remain Democrats and growing. All of us are united around democracy. Young and old, plumbers and philosophers, across social classes and educational divides. The Brexit Party is uniting the country, not dividing it. But the thing is, our opponents don't get it, because this is an actual breakout from the usual tribal groupthink that they're associated with. There are far-right and racists existing in the UK, small minority, and I tell you now, I oppose them with every fibre in my body. But to brand millions of people who straightforwardly demand that their vote is counted and not trashed as far right, well, and to brand people who enthusiastically are interested in rejuvenating democracy, well, I'll tell you what that is. That's real bigotry. In my book, I find that offensive about free speech. As Richard mentioned, I wrote about how this promiscuous use of labels such as far-right, fascist, Nazi, etc. are used to delegitimise opponents. That means that Corbyn's Labour Party or Lib Dems or Heseltine and Remain Tories, when they use those labels, they are basically complacently refusing to bother engaging with us. They are lazily trying to silence and shun and discredit arguments without even having to win a political discussion. And I think that we should recognise that we are better than that. We have the arguments. They are lazy smearers. When Labour Party adverts say, don't let fear win, though, they're right. We shouldn't let fear win. Fear is a cheap political tactic. But we in this room know that, don't we? Because Project Fear's been tried on us before. It didn't work then and it shouldn't work again. We are the ones who optimistically embrace the challenge of a new political, social and democratic arrangement post-Brexit. It's our opponents who are the risk-averse pessimists who see any challenge to the status quo as scary. We're brave, they're scared, we're not going to be put off by Project Fear. When technocratic Remain MPs or terrified sections of the liberal media describe this movement and these rallies as far-right or populist, remember, it's because for those in the old decaying mainstream parties, they're just so unpopular, they don't recognise what a popular movement actually looks like. Of course, they say that big rallies like this are just uniting around democracy, and they're just saying the word democracy is oversimplistic, a slogan, a soundbite. They say we lack nuance, that we underestimate complexity of democracy. Well, who are they kidding? Democracy is not just a word for us. It's built on a rich seam of history and philosophy. It's built on Enlightenment ideas of equality, liberty, freedom of association, freedom of conscience, free speech. We understand that. Democracy is not just a soundbite for us. If you think that, then go try reading John Locke, Milton, Tom Paine. But it's not just a historical concept either. We, in this historic moment, need to make democracy our own again and to use these EU elections to kickstart a national democratic discussion throughout the UK. And I want to quote you a great Labour Party icon and socialist Eurosceptic Tony Benn. He said this about democracy: if you don't keep up the pressure for democratic control, you lose it. It's use it or lose it. There is never a final victory for democracy. It's always a struggle in every generation. And you have to take up the cause time and time and time again. Tony Benn is right. But this is our time to take up the cudgels for democracy. It's also going to have to cry for freedom. It's not a slogan. We're going to start by making history, by actually starting a great, fantastic, deep democratic debate. To finish, there's a wonderful mood, I think, of democratic liberty in the air. All the street stalls and rallies and meetings I've been at, today out all over Salford, fantastic discussions going on. A real thirst for proper, principled politics, open-minded debates and discussions on new ideas. Those who say, where's your manifesto? Listen, the Brexit party's been clear. There's an exciting project after the European elections about what that manifesto will contain. But for now, the mainstream parties in this area all have manifestos. The thing is, they're betraying them. All the candidates of the Labour Party and the Tories are selling them out. What's more, there is absolutely no point debating and discussing manifestos and choosing different options and for society if the basic cornerstone of decision-making is torn to shreds by Parliament and hollowed out by Parliament clinging on to the anti-democratic EU's coattails. When we start writing a manifesto, we'll do it by arguing and having democracy, and that's a good thing because we're the Democrats. So, Let's give democracy for our generation a huge boost on May the 23rd. We should not take one vote for granted. We need to win each and every X in the Brexit party box on that ballot paper. So right till the end, you need to keep discussing and arguing with friends and neighbours and everyone. I'm rushing off now, I'm not wanting to be rude, because I'm speaking in Preston at another local Brexit Party event. And I'd like to give a shout out to Nadine, who organised the event on her birthday. I mean, that's dedication for you, as is all the thousands of volunteers who have been out on the streets arguing for our votes and will continue to do so for the next 4 days. I salute you. And I want to finish with a quote from one of my heroines, the socialist suffragette Sylvia Pankhurst, who said, "To the fool who cries democracy can do nothing, we answer, all the best of life today has been fashioned by and through democracy." Too right, Sylvia, and we're no fools. We know that all the best in life tomorrow and in the future relies on us today fighting for democracy. Vote Brexit Party, and yes, the best is yet to come. Thank you very much, everyone.